Coal Miner's Daughter is the 1980 adaptation of Loretta Lynn's memoir, which she co-wrote with George Vasey. It was a huge bestseller in 1976, and recently the book was re-released for the 40th anniversary of the film's release. Loretta Lynn is sometimes called the Queen of Country. Born in 1935 in Butcher Hollow, Kentucky, into a poor family, her father was a coal miner, and one of her signature songs is about him and makes the title of this film. Married at 13, she had children very young and was a grandmother by 29. She loved to sing, but she was quite shy. So her husband, who she playfully called Do, which was a nickname, his name was Oliver Lynn, and he pushed her to appear on stage and became her manager. Sissy Spacek was handpicked by Loretta to play her in the film adaptation. She actually just saw a photograph of her and thought, yeah, that looks right. She'd never see one of her films. She's joined by Tommy Lee Jones as her husband and Beverly D'Angelo as Patsy Cline, with Michael Apted directing. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Sorry if that's wrong. The plot of the film follows that of the book, with Loretta growing up in Butcher Hollow, seeing her father and neighbors working in the mines, meeting Do, their famously tumultuous marriage, having children, and then the work they put in for her to be heard on the radio and onto her famous career. It's a really interesting rags to riches story. One thing that struck me immediately on watching this was that we don't often see this part of America, and when we do, sometimes these people are dismissed as ignorant or hillbillies. I really like seeing the other side of this. Real people is seen through the eyes of someone who grew up there, and the landscape, that's something you can't always visualize. The environment, the clothes, the types of faces, the kinds of homes, climate, the kind of plants and things that make up a place that you've never seen. The second thing that kind of struck me was that Sissy Spacek and Tommy Lee Jones look so young. I haven't seen a lot from the earlier part of Tommy Lee Jones's career, so that was kind of interesting for me. I think their performances are slightly awkward in the first few scenes as grown adults try to play teens, but it's not bad. They're both very well cast. Jones is kind of confident and forceful tone is like just right for Do. He's someone who demands what he wants and justifies it to himself. He's not gentle at all, but can be quite charming. And then on the flip side, Sissy Spacek really captures the quiet strength and endurance, and also shyness and naivety of Loretta Lynn. She's very vulnerable but enduring. So yeah, watching this film, I think you see the other side of things than you get in the book. In the book, Loretta's humility and her charm and vulnerability and humor is there, and her humor is important. It's her way of telling a story is very much part of who she is. When you film events, you get more of the stark reality. For example, Loretta is honest in her book about her marriage. At 13, she knew nothing about sex, and her marriage was often tough, though she credits her husband with her success because he was pushing her to keep going and to put herself out there. And when you see that on screen, the reality is a bit more brutal. Their first night as newlyweds is a really uncomfortable little short scene to watch. So yeah. Although family and biopic territory, the film has a lot of Lynn's music. When you hear the music in the film, that really is Sissy Spacek singing. The soundtrack was also a really big hit on its own. It sold really well. The strong friendship between Lynn and Patsy Cline is also in this film, and it's really wonderful to see Beverly D'Angelo in a serious dramatic role. I think she's such a diverse performer. You might have seen her as the mom in the National Lampoon movies, so her like comic timing and facial expressions in those films is so good. It's so funny. And then in this film, she's so different. I love seeing that. When actors can do that. She also performs Patsy Cline's songs in the film. The film was up for quite a few awards in the year it came out. For example, it was nominated for 7 Academy Awards, and Spacek won for Best Actress, amongst other things. It's really an entertaining watch, and it sticks quite closely to the book, which feels satisfying, I think, if you've read the book and you're a fan. It's lovely to see some moments come to life that you read in the book, like her friendship with Patsy Cline or her first performances, wearing clothes under her nightgown on her wedding night, these little things. I like seeing the torches being lit to light the way down the mountain paths because there were no street lights, which is such a little thing, like a detail, but I really like that. I enjoyed this film, and I think you will too, even if you're not a country music fan or anything. It's a well-told story about an interesting, unusual life. It's shot really well, it's beautiful to watch, it has solid central performances, a few cameos. Loretta Lynn is a really amazing person, especially with the way she endures so much and has a sense of humor about it. So, and then her marriage that lasted 50 years, even if some of those years probably weren't a lot of fun. I'd also recommend the book of the same name. It's funny, honest, and inspiring. So that is Coal Miner's Daughter from 1980. Thanks for watching.